Okay, we're going to take a look at linking notes with file properties and why this might be useful. So I'm just going to show you two different types of drawing template. One which is quite sophisticated, which is this one. It's got a ledger here with a file properties section that's quite well populated. And so if you don't know where file properties is, it's up the top here. It's this tab here. I'll expand that in a minute and we can take a quick look. But in the ledger, we've got all sorts of areas, finishes. They've all got their boxes with possibilities for it being filled out on each sheet. And because it's quite sophisticated, each element in the ledger has an area and you can populate it here and it'll go across all the ledgers on all the sheets, and if you update one, it'll update them all. So anyway, that's file properties. We're not going to look at setting that up per se in terms of templates, but what we are going to look at is linking our notes to those file properties. And indeed, if you want to create a separate file property or an additional one so that you can manage your own one as well, at the end we'll also show you where we can do that. So let's just take a quick example just so you get some understanding of how this ledger is working. We've got a finish reference here of FRMDF. You can see that here. So if we go into the file properties area up the top here, so up the top, file properties, and we move down to the associated box, which is finish reference number 1. It's a text field, FRMDF. If I was to change that to Mars bars, then go OK instead of FRMDF, you will see that's indeed now we've got Mars bars here. So not the greatest thing for joinery, Mars bars, but there you go. So if we wanted then to create some notes for our drawing, so we wanted to use that FRMDF, which is now Mars bars, all over our drawing, all over subsequent sheets, because we've got multiple sheets here going on, you know. Then we can do that. So let's just add a note here. So put in a note, as you always would, drop it in there, and instead of typing Mars bars in there and then doing it multiple times, and you might want to link it to this particular finish reference over here, the way you can do that is by going over to the note area over here. So that obviously that note area has to be active. At the moment it's active because I've just placed it, but if I was editing it, so if we just tick that and we've got nothing in the note, if we wanted to bring it up again, double click and it'll bring up, make it active. We can type something in there if we want to, or we go to this area over here under text format, and you've got the degrees down here. You've got various options, but we want this one. So see the symbol looks like file properties symbol at the top, and it says linked properties. So click on link properties, and then what we'll do is you want to make sure it's not defaulted to the model. It's actually the current document we want. So if it's ticked like this, model, go back to current document. This is the name of the drawing, and then we want to find the right property for it. So I think this was finish reference 1, but you'll see all of those listings that were in the file properties, because this is quite a sophisticated template, all listed out here. There's quite a lot of them because it's sophisticated, and we just kind of click on the finish reference and click OK, and you'll see we've got Mars bars. So that's kind of handy. And if you want to use that a lot, then obviously you can copy that and then paste it multiple times and use it across your drawing everywhere. But the cool thing about it is if you no longer want it to be Mars bars and the architect has called you up and said we want it to be jelly tots, we change this to jelly tots, it'll all turn to jelly tots. So if you've used that 100 times across your drawing, it's pretty handy they're all linked, because it's linked to this point here, jelly tots all over the place. So let's just close it out. We're going to go to a more simple one. which is this one. So if you've got a pretty basic template, particularly if you just started out and you've created just a basic template and you've never used file properties before, that's a whole subject of its own, file properties, for working out how to set up the templates and so on and so forth. I won't go into that, sheet formats and so on. We'll just stick to the subject matter here now. But if you wanted to add an additional one, it's pretty easy to do. So if I go to the file properties tab here, and you'll see here I created one earlier, note number 1. I called it Jelly Tots. You basically, I think you by default you'll have this one up the top here, and then you can start adding new properties down below. You'll have noticed on the other template prior there were loads of them because somebody set up the whole template. But you can just quickly add one here by going. I'm going to call it Note 2 and call it text, and we're going to call this Mars bars. So we go OK, and earlier when I was just prior to doing this recording, I set up some notes here which are all called Jelly Tots. So if I was to go to my Jelly Tots up top here and call it Snickers, I'm not sure how you spell Snickers, but hopefully that's right, then Snickers, they'll all be Snickers, right? So it's the same thing, and you even if you've got that long list on that other template, if you go down the bottom, you'll see the space. You can just start up another line, and that's kind of quite handy because you might want to not have something that's related to the ledger, and you just might want something that you can control yourself. So yeah, in order just to set that up again, let's go through it again. You add a note, and then you can go to the link properties, and you can go to current model, current document, and we'll go to note 2 this time, and there you go, you see we get Mars bars. So it's really handy to be able to do that, and especially if you're doing it multiple times and then someone goes and changes the note, and then if you sort of wanted this one then to actually go, oh, this note, I actually don't want this one linked to Mars bars, you don't have to change it up there. If you want it then to be linked to the Snickers note, you simply can edit it. So go back to where it was and then go to note number 1. I want to put the Snickers at the end. That's because you might want to play around with that. If you want to actually edit it so that you were changing just that part of the note, what it did was actually add another part of the note at the end there, then you'd need to highlight it. So let's undo that. See if we can undo that. Do it again. Edit, undo. So I can show you how it should have been done. Okay, so activate the note, and then it's just this part. If you highlight the Mars bars, I think, and then go note properties, I think it should just change just that part of it because you've highlighted it. But if you go, play around with it, but if you go without highlighting it, and maybe put a space in, and then let's say we want to add an additional part, you can actually link 2 notes together. You can play around with it, but you can actually have more than one in one note. So we can have Snickers and Mars bars there because you can link it to both of them in the same note if you want to. So, and then if I changed both of them, you'll see how this will change. So let's put Snickers back to Jelly Tots. And we can make this Milky Way. I'm not sure I spelled that one. Milky Way. The spelling's wrong. There you go. You can see Jelly Tots Milky Way, and these are turned into Jelly Tots, all the Snickers. So anyway, hopefully that helps you, saves a little bit of stress and helps you click a little bit less. And I'll see you next time.